you never see it coming. You see that my mind is to pass for eyes. You're done but the time it hit you, you're not surprised.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newsroom and welcome to the Goutopia News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. No tagline yet. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back on the grind, as you guys know. I don't know when this video is going to go up, but as you guys may have seen, you've had like a video almost every day, which seems kind of out of character for me, but I really want to try to shoot for a video a day or a video every other day, unless, you know, life comes into play. In any case, thank you guys for, you know, being there and supporting the network and whatnot. So with that being said, we got a lot of catching up to do. I'm behind by like 9 days of January, so I have to really try to catch up and whatnot, and there's been a lot of nonsense that's going on, and then I'm working on this new series involving wings. There's a lot going on. In any case, let's go ahead and get into it. So, back here with Snort Burnell. Yes! I miss you, Snort Burnell. I miss you a lot. Dspgaming. Sick of the lack of money. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we already know what the consequences of all that was. That poor little piggy on the 23rd of December got himself really sick off 3 beers over 3 hours and a little bit of eggnog. And Phil, I have to admit, as someone who I like to think of as a connoisseur, to an extent, of eggnog, especially eggnog with a little bit of that alcohol in it, I'd like to think that I'm insulted, sir, that you would sit there and blame it on the eggnog. Okay? You're supposed to blame it on the Henny. Oh, you don't know anything about that. But anyway, so blaming it on the eggnog is rather sad. You using alcohol as your catalyst to blame you for you being sick because you failed on the 23rd, because you didn't plan accordingly, you didn't properly set up the scenario, and you wouldn't do the smallest things to help in raising this money for your taxes. Let me give you an example. As you guys know, at the time of you guys listening to this, and up to the time that I'm recording this, Phil has a funding goal or a cheer goal now. Now, like I said in my previous broadcast, Twitch Thoughts and everything have been doing that for a while. They still are. Phil used to do it. But see, when he got smacked down for the charity/fundraiser thing, he doesn't necessarily understand why he was smacked down. Let me give you guys an example. Phil looks at it as, oh, it's because I had this goal on the screen, right? That's why you guys hit me. Okay, so, all right, and I probably should put fundraiser in the title too, right? Okay, and I was actively asking for money, and there may or may not have been an administrator in my comment section, and it may have come off a bit too egregious, right? Phil doesn't know. Phil doesn't know, and that's because in some ways, even though Phil's a partner and he's protected, he doesn't understand the fact that you have to be a little bit more subtle, because, you know, because of your position as a partner and the fact that there's so many people that's gunning for your head. Now, when you think about these girls on Twitch, Twitch Thoughts actually, because the women and the girls on the platform and the thoughts are two different things. These thoughts on there, they've got it set. At the end of the day, like that young lady, for example, I can't think of her name, but I saw her in a Gundam video. It's a Gundam video. And shouts out to Gundam. And Billy. Shouts out to Billy. Follow him on Twitter, by the way. You should follow him on Twitter. Billy's hilarious on Twitter. So is Gundam, but Billy's definitely funny. Anyway, sorry. When you see, there's this one chick out there right now, and she's doing it right. If she was thicker, if she had just a little bit more cake, you know, something to appreciate, she would have already made her funding goal right now. But you know what? She's working with what she has. God bless her and her thottery. There's a young lady out there right now, a young thought on the come up, who's got the game down. She set a goal to have her dream home. It's either $200,000 or $250,000 for this dream home, right? And she's hitting it. She's at like 100,000 plus. All right. She has it at the bottom of the screen. Hey, this is how much we've made. This is what I'm reaching towards. She's very transparent about wanting this dream home. And she plays Dance Dance Revolution. Badly, by the way. But she plays Dance Dance Revolution. And that's pretty much all she does. And some skimpy shit. And her thought attire, if you will. And she's getting this money. And she's making it happen. Now, Phil, let's jump back to you for a minute. Because you're a thought too, Phil. Okay? I'm saying it right now. You're a thought. You're a pig. A disgusting pig. A roach pig. A thought. You're a roach pig thought. You're a gouty thought. You're a thought. In any case, what separates Phil from this thought over here is the fact that Phil's not smart. This chick put everything out there. This is the amount that I want. Let's run with it, gentlemen. And people came to oblige. Phil got smacked down, doesn't know what the reason was, except for he came up with the reasons in his head because he's so smart. And then just shut the whole situation down. Now he's coming back to doing it after New Year's. He wants to start the year off fresh, you see. And now he wants to start it again. Now, at the time that I'm recording this, he has like a $200 cheer goal a day, which is stupid. It's absolutely ridiculous. We'll go over that video when that comes up, because it will be coming up soon. But it's stupid. You're an absolute fucking moron, Phil. Because, as you saw in day one, you hit that goal, that $200 in the first, like, hour of your stream, and then it died off after that. The nighttime stream didn't give you shit. They were like, this piggy ninja already got his money. What do I need to donate to? Where's the gift of subs at? That's what they did, and they were right for doing so. Maybe, Phil, if you had set the goal up to, oh, I don't know, $16,000 and make it a continuous progression, day in, day out, and just keep adding to the amount every day, you might get a little bit more headweight. But see, you want to be lazy, and you think, oh, well, I'll ask for $200 a day. Oh my god, damn, that hurts. Snort. I'm going to ask for my $200 a day, Snort, and they'll give it to me. And this way, the haters can't really hate on me because I'm not begging for a crazy amount of money, and I'm guaranteed to at least hit the 200 day, right? Wrong. No. Because once you hit the $200, then the job is done. And unless you're gonna set a goal rewards for the people who are there and who are on stream, even if they're not participating in the actual fundraising itself, which is what it is, but that is show up, make an appearance. Unless you're giving them something, you're not giving them any incentive to give you more money. You're not giving them an incentive to surpass the goal for the day. And if the morning goal's already been set, then why set it at night? Here's another thing, Phil, and maybe you should think about this. You won't, and if you do, well, we know where you got it from. Is why don't you once you hit the morning goal, take that down and then refresh it back to 0 and start again at night? How about you do that? Or Phil, and I was going to save this for that video, but I'll bring it up anyway. Why don't you go ahead and do what you're good at doing? You're good at dividing the fan base, Northern Goutopia and Southern Goutopia. You're really good at doing that. So why don't you make it a competition between both streams? $500 during the day, $500 at night. And you compete. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you playing off your whales, well, not whales, but the paid piggies against each other. Same concept. And there you go. And you're not above shitting on one fan base over the other. So being like, hey guys, the guys in the morning, for 5 straight days, they've crushed that $500 cheer goal. But you guys haven't really been doing it, man. I think you guys need to step up, man. I think the morning crew is where it's at. Maybe, just maybe, I might have to make the evening streams kind of shorter. Maybe, just maybe, you know, being that Cat doesn't feel so well, and you know, some more information on her was released. Maybe I might have to cut a couple of the evening streams down. I feel like you guys are taking me for granted. Maybe, just maybe, instead of streaming every night, maybe I'm just going to stream like 3 nights a week. Maybe you guys need to step up and contribute. Maybe I feel like I'm being taken advantage of. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there to you guys. I'm just throwing that out there, ladies and gentlemen. That may be what he needs to do. Go ahead, Phil. It's on. There's some free tips on me. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the news broadcast at hand. because that's what you guys are here for. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News, always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh yes, a GTG Network Productions. You guys all know the slogan. It's time to watch me work.
Warning. What you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting.
I have not been doing so well. As I'm sure you can probably hear in my voice, I'm very congested. Had pretty much a really shitty 2 days. Actually 3 days. Because, you know, I started off on Christmas Eve. That I was supposed to do a special podcast with all of you.
That was a great place to stop it. Ladies and gentlemen, yet again, we are here with Snort Burnell, Dspgaming. Sick for the lack of money. I want all that money.
Friday is actually my day off, which I know is crazy because it's not like I just didn't have 2 days away. It's not like they were days that I actually got to relax. It was days that I was suffering. And this Friday, I actually have a few things I have to do on Friday, including I got a haircut appointment. So this Friday, I have to take off.
2 thumbs fucking down for me. Doing a 9 to 5 would be easy.
Oh yeah, that picture was posted on Twitter. If I can, I might look for it and whatnot. But yeah, his barber didn't do very well. Like his hairline looked. I mean, it's receding. If any of you guys know this, his hairline's already receding, but it looked really bad in his haircut. Like it may not have even been the haircut's fault. It may just be showing that, you know, that bad hair that Phil inherited from his mother is starting to really come about as he gets older and older. It was an ugly look, and I think he banned somebody too for bringing that up. So that was fun.
In addition to my normal income, I need to raise about another roughly $16,000 between now and April. I know that many of you actually cheered some cheers during the time away. I apologize. There's no way I'm going to be able to do like a half an hour of reading those cheers tonight, you know. But I want to say thanks for the money, dummies, because that's exactly what you fucking are. A bunch of fucking empty-headed idiots who paid me money to get absolutely nothing out of it. Thanks. Wow. Even though there was quite a lot of scumbags who sent me really negative, insulting messages as well. Why am I toxic? More toxic, more toxic. Dumbass people with conspiracy theories like I'm faking my illness, which makes no fucking sense. Yes, I'm faking my illness to not do the holiday podcast that traditionally gets a lot of attendance and actually makes me some good money. Yeah, I'm faking an illness to not do it. And people are so fucking dumb that I don't even want to get into it because it's just going to get me upset. But, you know, I do want to say thanks to everyone who was very, very positive. And thanks to those who were patient. I apologize. Obviously, I had no plans to get sick like I did. And it sucks that it happened. Okay?
What the fuck?
Remember, he's not a children's entertainer. Not at all.
I guess I'll start recording. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, tonight I'm playing Minecraft and I apologize because I'm very under the weather. I've been very sick for the past 2 days. I only got the ability to talk back earlier today. My throat is still swollen. My head is still massively congested, so I can only talk like this. I can't really be myself, and I apologize, but I said that tonight I would do some Minecraft because it's more laid back, it's more chill, and it doesn't require me to really do, even though there's a lot of talking, it's not a ton of like, oh my god, yelling or screaming or anything like that. And it's a lot more interactive when you guys, you know, interact with me on stream. It's a lot better than...
No, actually, I'm glad you brought that up. So if you guys go back to the video game marathon, the holiday video game marathon on the 23rd, after what happened with Street Fighter V, which it wasn't a bad thing, it was just he failed at the Bob Ross thing, he got sensitive, and you know, that's what piggies do. When he was like, I'm willing to do whatever you guys want, what do you guys want me to do, this, that, and the third, he was hoping to sway people to going towards Minecraft. That's what he wanted. and he didn't get it, and that's why he threw himself an attitude. But that's what he wanted. Like I said, Minecraft is supposed to be his kind of little relaxing throwback thing. And I guess you could say Final Fantasy IV to an extent, but now that he's moved that to the main, or he's planning on moving it to the main stream from the second stream, that's neither here or there. He's hoping to cash in on people's nostalgia, even though it's really only him that cares about it more than anybody else. It's not like he's a Final Fantasy enthusiast or anything. But that's what he really wanted. He really wanted people to kind of be motivated for him to go ahead and play Minecraft that night and then ride that out, thinking that that would be a decent finish. And when they didn't respond the way he wanted them to, obviously he got an attitude. Plus, you know, the failure, having to admit his failure, you know, less than 20 minutes before that, you know, it all compounds. It all piles up. And, you know, Phil doesn't do well under pressure, as you guys all know. Here we go.
A stream where I have to like hyper focus on reading or commenting on multiplayer gameplay or whatever. So anyway, I just loaded it, and if you remember where we left off, I was underground mining. I just loaded the game, and look what just happened. I literally loaded the game. I was supposed to be underground. Instead, I fell out of the sky and smashed and died. It makes absolutely no sense.
Now, here's the thing, Phil. First off, why are you narrating this to them? They saw it. They saw you do it. Now, if you're doing it for the YouTube video for clarification, I guess. But for people on stream, they saw this. They saw what happened to you. As Snort Burnell says, it's karma. I like to think it's poetic justice. But in any case, people saw it. Leave it be. It's not hard to figure out. In my personal opinion, of course. And it's this type of hand-holding, which goes both ways, by the way. It's this type of hand-holding on Phil's part that throws me off. If your fan base aren't children, if your audience primarily are not children, why do you feel the need to handhold them through the smallest shit? And vice versa, why is it that if you are a full-time streamer, if you are a true gamer, why do you let the chat handhold you through games when you have a history of looking up parts of games before you even start playthroughs? That's been proven. When I guarantee you, because he's looking forward to playing Resident Evil 2 remake or remastered. When he gets ready to play that, I guarantee you he's gonna try to look up everything he can beforehand because he doesn't want to look stupid. Now, most people are like, "Well, wait, GTG, he's doing he's playing what? He's playing GTA currently. I don't know which version he's playing right now, but he's playing GTA currently, and he's sandbagging, he's lacking this, that, and the third." Well, yeah, he's purposely botching that playthrough to stretch it out. I think Tevin had already brought it up. I think Theo said something about it. I'm pretty sure James the Lesser has. There's been a lot of people who've been saying that. He's done this before. He's known for sandbagging on certain playthroughs or in certain areas, especially as you get towards the end of a stream. And then all of a sudden, magically, he knows where he needs to go, or he knows what he needs to do, and so on and so forth. This is just part of the Pig Roach lore. It's just another tactic. But the thing is, even people in his own fan base know he does it. Very few of them are brave enough to call him out, but it's just another tactic. It doesn't serve a real purpose, though. If he was trying to build up, for example, ladies and gentlemen, as if he was a showman, if he was trying to build up anticipation, if he was trying to set the stage for something, set the scene, if you will, then it would make a little bit more sense. But yet Phil has always been poor in his execution of everything, so it was going to fail either which way. But if that's what he was shooting for, maybe I would give him the benefit of the doubt. But since that wasn't the case, then so what? You know what I'm saying? He's really burning time just for the sake of burning time, and he doesn't care. Just like how he snorts in front, and he does all those just really disgusting noises in front of his microphone. He doesn't give a shit whether you people like it or not. He can do what he wants, and he's going to continue to do what he wants. But he doesn't think that, you know, people are wearing headsets, this, that, and the third. Because I've been sick. You guys have heard some of that stuff out of me. And people tell me, like, "Hey, GTG, man, I love you, man, but dude, blow your nose, man, please." And you take that stuff, or for what I do now is I pause the mic. Or I mute myself, I'm sorry. Take that into consideration. But Phil can't do that. He's just used to doing it. Phil, you don't have, like, something on your amplifier or something that lets you shut that off real quick? Or you can just use OBS to mute yourself? You telling me you can't do that? And it's these things that pile up on him where he looks at them as everyday norms, but people are constantly, you know, being turned away from it. It's a disgusting way to carry yourself. And why is it that for a Let's Player, you know what I mean? Why are people hearing about your fucking inner turmoils and your real life problems? Play the goddamn game. That's what they're there for. Not for all this extra. It don't mean nothing to them. They're there to play the game, not see you get played at life. Just my opinion, though. Dspnews.
0. I have no idea where I am. I have no idea what just happened. It spawned me in the sky and killed me. And I have no idea what I'm supposed to do here. It was showing an island in the rain with a sheet. Maybe it's my original spawn point over here. Maybe that's where all my stuff is. Yeah, it looks like it. Super Batcat resub for the 22nd month in a row and asking, am I feeling better? No. I can talk, but I still feel like shit. I do. I feel awful. But, you know, being away for 2 days with no streams is not a good idea when I need to raise money to pay my bills in less than a week. So, I have to be here as much as I can, even though Friday I have to be off. So, things are just not working out so well for me recently. I'm just being honest here. They're just not. But there's not much I can do about it. I guess I'm just going to be...
Okay, so as you guys know, this stream didn't go off very well, and then he took the rest of the time off. Like, he took like 5 days in total, I think, or something along those lines until he ended up coming back. Alright, so... the Friday situation, which should be brought up because I think it's important. You need this money before, you know, by the first week of January so you can pay these bills. And yet you're still going to take off Friday because it was your normal day off. No, Phil, you have to do what you have to do. Now, most people could say you got to give Phil a little bit of credit because he did try to stream on his day, even if it was just for a little while. He sounded absolutely horrible. And so, you know, you got to give him an A for effort on that. I'm not giving him an A on shit. He can get a C- for his attempt. We'll give him that. Because to be honest with you, he doesn't sound any different than he normally does, except for he just made his voice different. The snorting and everything else is still fucking there. And more importantly than that, you're sick, my dude. You're supposed to get that toxic fluid out, not just keep sucking it back in. But that's neither here or there. That's Detractor logic, and, you know, pig roach logic beats everything, apparently. That's why he's never wrong, dude. So that's the first thing. The second thing, as it pertains to your day off, right, your already scheduled day off, you have obligations. You should do what you need to do. So to sit there and tell people, oh, well, I'm just going to do what I can, but I have to take Friday off because that's my scheduled day off, is kind of bullshit. And then you get mad that when you come back, that money just doesn't get tossed at you left and right. And more importantly than that, since you've been back, Phil, at the time of me recording this, yeah, you bring up the fact that you really need this money and whatnot so you can pay these bills, right? You bring that up, you're sparing with doing that, but now the focus has gone back to, I need this money for taxes. And now you're getting into some extra shit, talking about how you were screwed out of sponsorships and this, that, and the third. When that video comes about, I'll go over it because I can't wait to break that down. That's going to be great. That's going to be great. 2019, I plan to be Ether. And all I'm going to do is break you down, Phil. We're going to break you down to your little piggy basis. And cook some bacon while we're at it. Can't mix bacon and Ether together, though, because that's just highly toxic. But you know what I mean. So, look forward to that. Here we go.
Crude for January and not paying any of my bills or something. I don't know. I don't know what else to do anymore.
I don't even know what to say. Give me money, money. Cody Carl's Charity said, what would you do the morning after drinking a lot during your old YouTube videos? The morning after drinking a lot, I would sleep in. I like how you're laughing too.
Well, it's funny.
Oh yeah, Mash Labrador did a 100-bit cheer. He says, I read on Twitter, you and Kat got to go to an Italian restaurant on Christmas Eve. Great, hopefully it was good. No, that didn't happen at all. If you really want to know the truth, we went out to a local
fast food Chinese place. What we want, good shit.
DspGaming is a stupid, cowardly, ugly, jobless, narcissistic, egotistical man-child who begs for people's money just by sitting on his fat ass, sucking at video games 24/7 and will never adapt to a professional level in gaming. Do not donate to this loser. He only uses your money is to buy fast food, making his fans
I like fast
his
food.
own bills and keeps Moses unearned.
Okay. Now back to the game. I use my money to buy fast food. That's interesting.
Because I was feeling terrible.
Now here's the thing. Where's all them Swanson meals at, man? What, you could Cat not take a drive to Costco? I think they have a Costco. I think that's what he has a membership to. Or is it a Sam's? I don't know, one of the two. You couldn't have them take a trip over. You couldn't have Cat take a trip over there and pick up something, something a little bit ready-made or something. I don't know, some Stouffer, like a giant Stouffer's lasagna or something. You guys went to a fast food Chinese place. I don't know, man. I feel a certain type of way about him keeping her on a leash, but then again, with the leaks that came out, maybe that's... I don't know. Let's continue. Oh, boy.
Shit. And even though we were originally planning on maybe going somewhere nicer, we just went to the closest place possible, and we got fast food Chinese. And that's what we did for Christmas Eve. We came right home. Because I felt awful. No, I honestly, if you want my honest opinion...
Well, let me give you my honest opinion. It sounds like you're selling a story, because he does that a lot. Have you guys noticed? I'm sure you guys have. Where, oh yeah, me and Cat, I don't know, instinctively I'm used to getting ready to say Panda, but oh, me and Cat went off to this place right here. You know, it's very inexpensive. You know, we got the cheapest thing on the menu. Didn't get drinks. We had water with lemon in it, and we left. Or we went off shopping here for stuff for the house. We went here to get groceries, and then we just stopped by this little place to get some food on the way home. It was very inexpensive. It didn't cost very much. Yada yada yada. Like, he's always trying to negate the value of everything he does now because of how scared he is that people are going to retaliate against him. And I had this conversation with I was having this conversation with a few different people actually on Twitter, where it goes back to something that Theo had said a couple years ago, and I distinctly remember. I remember at least most of what he was saying about he's letting the detractors control him. Theo said this a couple years ago on how he's letting the detractors control him. I took that basic idea and I built off of it and said that he allowed himself to be put into a box, and now we're just going ahead and shifting him around, and we just take advantage of him as we need to, if you want to look at it from a brutal standpoint. In truth, it's more, now that, you know, that was probably a year ago when I said that. Now I look at it as a Rubik's Cube, if you think about it. And all it is just a shuffling between detractors. We're essentially just passing him around. And each one of us is going ahead and trying to complete a color. Not trying to actually complete the whole cube itself, but just one color. Once we hit it, I pass it on to the next guy. So I pass it to James Lesser. James Lesser passes to Agent Proper. Agent Proper alley-oops it to Almighty Tevin. Almighty Tevin throws it to Argent. Argent throws it back over here to Theo. Theo throws it to Davidson, and so on and so forth. And that's what ends up building the scenario. But Phil himself is the box. He is the Rubik's Cube. And he allows himself to be put in these situations because, ladies and gentlemen, he boxed himself into that Rubik's Cube. Not realizing that he gave up his freedom and independence for safety. Now, I don't know if I've actually explained what I mean by that. I don't think I did. I want to say I did it during the 12 days of Goutmas, but I might have not. So I'll give you guys kind of like just a brief thing on it. When Phil ran to Twitch and decided to lay his hat down there, he gave up. He gave up. And the reason why I say that is because he did. When he went over there for safety. He went over there for security. Twitch is where he would have, because he had a long-standing account, he was already partnered from the lick. All he had to do is reactivate his account. Tevin's talked about that. Praise be Almighty. And there you go. He could just hit the ground running. Now, the people that try to screw him and fuck around with him, they did. But essentially, when you look at all the things that ended up getting him banned or temporarily suspended or whatever the case may be, it was all his fault. But he was like a pressure valve. And people put pressure on him. He let the pressure build up, and he didn't know how to expel it. He didn't know how to depress, and it caused him to react. It happens even now to this very day. So when he put himself on this one platform, he fucked himself because now it's all he has. If anything happens to him on this platform, he's screwed. Wings is another example to some degree, where if anything happens to him on Twitch, even for the shortest amount of time, he's fucked. He is royally fucked. DSP could theoretically go back to YouTube for a little while. We've already seen it when he ended up, well, no, he didn't. Well, he went back to YouTube for like 3 days or whatever. And whatnot. It was supposed to be an indefinite suspension, but you guys remember, it was like broken down to like 3 days. But he went back for 3 days, he bitched and complained, he got his little money, he ran. Wings doesn't necessarily have that luxury. Because he doesn't have people that are willing to throw crazy amounts of money like that on a consistent basis. So if that ever happened to Wings, oh boy. But as it pertains to DSP, he has a little bit more leeway with that, to an extent. But he'll never make the money that he used to make on YouTube, because he gave it all up for Twitch. And that's why he keeps pushing for this whole, oh, when's Amazon going to have their video sharing website? You know, they promised us this. No. I've been waiting for it. No. Because he thinks that he can put his videos over there. And if any detractors try to migrate over there and make videos on him, oh, I'll just get them taken down. Because he believes that the infrastructure will be established and be run the exact same way it is for streaming, for Twitch. And it's not. It'll be a completely different ball game, and Phil don't get that. So Phil's hoping that his Twitch seniority will carry over to their video sharing platform, and it won't. It really won't. So he'll be no safer than he is on YouTube. But he surrendered pretty much everything that he had for streaming, and it's probably the dumbest move he ever made. Because he keeps talking, because before that, ladies and gentlemen, he was talking about, oh, I need to diversify, I need to be better, this, that, and the third. Only when his back was up against the wall, when that bacon was starting to it was just hitting that pan. It hadn't sizzled yet, but it was hitting that pan, is when he decided to do just that. Now he has no choice. He has no choice but to make streaming work. YouTube is a formality at this point. And he even bitches about their ad revenue and that, this, that, and the third. The views are subjective. His ad revenue, I couldn't tell you. He's not partnered. He'll probably never get partnered again and whatnot. And he thinks that if he goes to Amazon, they'll have a partnership deal too, and he'll get right in. You're probably not. And why would Amazon need to do that? Not for videos, not until they can figure out a way to monetize them and make, you know, buku money off it, to make it worth partnering you. Like on Twitch, it's easy to partner. Well, it is easier to partner people, actually. But you can partner people easy, but they're going to get their return on their investment to an extent. On their video platform, they probably haven't figured that out yet. And you're saying Phil has been crying about this for like 2 years. It'll probably be at least another 4 or 5 years until the plan has been laid out. And not even talking about having the actual structure for it and getting the servers and getting everything else together. Phil thinks, oh, they'll just get it together overnight. You're a fucking moron. So yet again, what good was that business degree? Why even tell people that you have it when you're sitting here playing life backwards? Not just your business, Phil. You're playing your life backwards. Isn't it evil to live backwards? Shouts out to Loaded Lux. DSP News.
Happened was, it's a combination of overworking the hell out of myself these past couple of weeks. As you know, I streamed 9 straight days without a break. Then took a day off when all I did was run around and do things and was busy all day. Didn't really relax. Then came back for my incredibly busy holiday weekend with all my special events and everything. So I think I overworked myself way too much. And then,
basically, during the holiday events, as you guys know, I basically kind of got really worried because there weren't a lot of contributions coming in. This kind of shit needs to come out. This kind of shit needs to be exposed for what it is. It's greed. It's greed. Greed is massively strong. I have no fucking self-control. And I was kind of counting on my holiday stuff to do really well. As I told you guys, I mean, no exaggeration, I don't have enough money right now to pay my bills in January at all. And I don't really know what to do.
McDonald's.
So when it was like really slow, I was playing, you know, especially this Sunday, I was doing Street Fighter and stuff, and nothing was coming in. People were complaining it's boring. I was like, this is not good. Like, I need that money. I really do.
Now, I think he was lying about the Street Fighter part. I don't remember people in Street Fighter saying it was boring. I think what it was is that he was getting his ass handed to him, and he just couldn't deal with it. That's what it was. Because remember, he's the one who broke character. You're the one who did that whole Bob Ross thing. No one told you to do that stupid shit. You chose to do that on your own. And then once you were getting your ass handed to you in casuals, he broke character because he couldn't take it anymore. He really couldn't. He couldn't take it anymore. And that's why, how is it this moron's going to run around here and talk about, we just need things to be positive. I need you guys to relax, this, that, and the third. But whenever he takes an L, he has to immediately spurt out some shit over it. And he couldn't. Even when he was in his little Bob Ross persona, he was spitting off negativity. He was trying to flip it in like this poor man Jesus type thing. But he was still spitting it. And as time went on, either he was grunting to himself because he had to hold his tongue. And as you know, disgusting pigs like himself can't do that. Or he was spouting it off and trying to play it off as a joke. The thing is, motherfuckers, you are the joke. That's the thing, Phil. You are the joke. And what it was is whatever is left about your little 2000, 2005, 2007 little Street Fighter Turbo run, whatever little bit of pride that you had left in that was getting the best of you. And that's why you broke character. And eventually you just stopped playing. Because Phil himself was like, I hate this game. Oh, this game's horrible. Oh, I don't want to do this anymore. Oh, I'm probably not going to ever play it again. That was all you. People were enjoying you getting your ass whooped. Because it's fun. It's fun to see you get your ass whooped. You're the one that couldn't take it. The stream itself, before Street Fighter was garbage, the high point of that stream was Street Fighter. And you knew it. Because you were looking at the viewer count. Because it's right there on your laptop. You were looking at the stream count and you saw that it was going up as you were getting your ass handed to you, and you couldn't take it anymore. You saw that the view count was going up, no money was coming in, and people were clowning you for losing. And you couldn't hold your shit together, so you quit. And now you're gonna flip it, blame it on the eggnog, blame it on the beer, blame it on the depression, blame it on I was nervous. Blame it on Street Fighter 5. Blame it on Tevin. Why do people think that you deserve any type of success when you haven't done anything to work for it? You never have. You know what I mean? You've made some attempts, but you thinking that you can ride out this little 10-year legacy thing because you did a bunch of videos online don't mean shit. Your best years have been behind you. For years. Your best years have been long gone. And everybody sees it but you. But you still want to hang on to it for everything it's worth. Kind of like these bigger YouTubers that are conning their fan bases or whatnot. Doing it because they have a name. Because they've been around for a long time. Well, we can trust them. And now that they're turning out to be frauds, they're trying to flag down every video they can. That's not working no more for some of them. And some of them are making apology videos that are just pathetic. Like, why'd you even bother? If you're not going to apologize right, then just don't apologize. If you don't mean it, then don't say nothing. Like, you guys going out here making these weak apologies and shit. You guys live off YouTube. You live in the public eye. None of you guys have any PR training at all? You guys don't know how to do a proper apology? All the fake crying and this, that, and the third, or oh, the money was talking to me and this, that, and the third. Shut that shit up. Go up there. I apologize. I fucked up. I was greedy. All I saw was the money, and I wanted to play off it. You got to give Wings that. Wings will sit there and sell his. He's damn near sold his soul because it's all he has left. Hey, I don't give a fuck about anything now. I'm just trying to squeeze as much money as I can out of my name because that's all he has left. He doesn't even look at it as a brand anymore. He looks at it as a name. DSP is no different. DSP doesn't even understand the concept of a brand. If you think about it, ladies and gentlemen, if you think briefly, I'm going to try to be brief, but you know me. Dspgaming, DarkSidePhil, and Phil Burnell. All three of these are part of the trifecta, the Gout, the Doubt, and Snout, from a business standpoint, if you will, that make up his brand. This is what encompasses DSP. Every bit of he's made money off almost all three of these things, or he has somehow benefited off all three. One of them being his name, and the other two being the name of his most successful thing he may have ever done, and I use success loosely, and then his online persona. That's what that is. All of that encompasses a brand. Having owning the copyrights to it and all that, that's subjective, but essentially it's a brand. What he has here is what he's cultivated. And yet he doesn't understand it, so he doesn't take care of it. It's just like in hip hop, for example, or in music in general. Really, your name is your brand, and you should protect it for everything it's worth. In battle rap, people talk about that a lot. Your name is your brand, and if you don't protect your name, your brand just crumbles. YouTube theoretically is the same thing. James the Lesser, Snort Burnell, Almighty Tevin, whether they take the shit seriously or not is irrelevant. It's their name is their brand. Their channel essentially is part of that brand, because this is all promotion. Let me use myself as the example, because you know me, I don't mind humiliating myself. Okay, so GTG, Dspnews, Goutopia News Network, Davetopia, which I'll try to push that more this year. All of that are aspects of what the brand is. The channel is Golden Triangle Gaming. Okay, as you guys know, my initials come from that. Okay, so the brand is Golden Triangle Gaming. I, your host, am GTG. I'm part of that brand. And then every little surname that I have that goes along with it, whether, you know, like I said, like Goutopia News Network, GTG Network and Productions, whatever, all of that is part of the brand. So you have to try to protect it as best as you can, especially if you ever really want to make something off of it one day, or if you want to use it to platform you to something else. It's all part of a brand. Davidson, Memology 101, Mighty D, you know what I mean? Gout Police, Mtcdood. All these guys right here, it's what you have as a brand. And though I'm not on Twitter as much as most people are, that's all part of the advertising. It's part of the advertising, but it's also part of getting your name out there. Let me actually explain what sparked this conversation. So I've been on, because as you guys know, I'm going to start Lazy GTG up again. So I was looking on Instagram and seeing what was popping up with some of the fellas for that research. And I ended up running into a chick who's just kind of starting off, and she's doing really, really well. Really, really well. And hopefully I can feature her one of the months for GTG, the Lazy GTG and whatnot. And we were going back and forth on like how is she planning on doing her brand and so on and so forth. And you kind of have to play the game and whatnot. Tevin went over this recently with the whole fashionistas thing as it pertains to Soldier Boy. That's something that a lot of these girls get into, or a lot of these ladies, I should say, get into. And it's just an aspect. It's an instrument to help her further herself moving forward. But for her, and as for a lot of the ladies up there, that shit is their brand. That's why you don't see a whole lot of them migrate to Twitter. They kind of stay on Instagram. Some of them may have some YouTube channels, but essentially they make their shit off Instagram, and then that's how you can get in contact with them for modeling, for advertisings, for promotion, shit like that. So you have to kind of protect yourself on Instagram and shit. Instagram is tough. Because for this young lady, for example, she's all natural. You got a lot of chicks who ain't had a lot of work done, or they're getting a little bit of work done here, a little work done there, so on and so forth, and it gets competitive out there. But you see that not a lot of the women over there, some, but not all of them, are tearing each other down like they do on YouTube. Or even on Twitch. On Twitch, you got a couple of these chicks running around here doing all kinds of telling on each other. For what? You're putting this girl's business out there because you were privy to it, or you were there when she told you. But now you're exposing that. How does that make you look? You know what I'm saying? For example. And it's tit for tat, and you know, we can get into a whole conversation about that at a later time. But your name is your brand. You know what I'm saying? And for a lot of the women on Instagram, for example, who are going on and doing some real modeling shit, getting into some real stuff, you have to protect yourself. And you have to protect your name. Now let's go back to Darkside in a gaming industry that looks like it's about to burst. The bubble for the gaming industry looks like it's coming up on a bubble burst eventually. I'm supposed to be doing a podcast with Agent Proper soon, hopefully, and I'm hoping that I can bring that up and get his feedback on it and whatnot, and that might be cool to lead into a much bigger discussion with a couple other guys we know later, Loco Slam and some of these guys. But and if the gaming industry does go into that bubble burst, what's people like Phil gonna do who depend on those new releases, who depend on those really overhyped, if you will, upcoming new releases? He has no choice but to go back to the retro shit, which he plays horribly anyway. Or he gives you all these excuses on why he can't capture it, why it can't be emulated, this, that, and the third. If he's making if him sitting at his PC now playing Final Fantasy is him making those early attempts to try to transition back into PC emulation, he better get used to it. He better get used to it, because if new games start to trickle down, or, you know, some of these publishing companies need to go on hold, or for whatever reason that may or may not happen, if this bubble does burst in the gaming industry, he's going to be kind of fucked. And how are you going to call yourself the king of retro, and you don't have a large enough retro base? You know what I'm saying? You don't have a large enough retro base for people to draw upon. Are you saying all the games that you played 10 years ago are considered retro? No, I want to see some actual retro games. I want to see him play Super Mario World all over again, without him pulling the bullshit he did with Mario Sunshine, just for example. Anyway, you guys can kind of chew on that. Tell me what you guys think. And let's continue with this. Dspnews?
I need that money to pay my bills. I really need your support right now, folks. By the way, I really desperately need the money to help with my tax situation. So, hint, hint, save the house. I'm really fucking nervous. So basically, I think what happened is, you know the term sick with worry? Oh my god! That's great! Oh my god! I think that's what it is. I was drinking while I was overstressed, and I just got sick with worry about shit going on, and I let myself get sick. I think that's honestly what happened. It's absolutely pathetic, but that's how people are on the internet. That was pathetic, in my opinion. Wow. Congratulations, you're pathetic. Pretty pathetic. Little sensitive sissy ninny. Little special snowflakes who've been pet and, you know, protected by their parents all their lives. It's the parents' fault. You know, it's been a very tough year for me. It's been a great year, but financially it's been a very tough year for me, where a lot of things have just been completely out of my control that kind of screwed me over. I'm not going to talk about it tonight, because we're going to talk about this on the podcast. It's one of the major segments of the podcast.
So I'm going to talk about that on the podcast. I really don't want to talk about it all night tonight. I just want to chill with you guys, you know? But I think that's what it was. Like, I got really just sick with worrying about the future.
First, I got to get my horse. Where the fuck is it? Where's my horse? I just completed a mission. My horse is missing. I got no friggin' horse. No horse and no money. So really bad. You know, it sucks. It's just life. It happens. You know, and it stinks. But, you know, it is what it is. That's life, I guess. And all I can do is move forward positively. You know, tomorrow I am going to hopefully do the podcast, even though I'm going to sound terrible.
Hopefully the podcast will go well. I guess we'll see. Remains to be seen, right, how it's going to go.
Cat, you need to get out now. That place is toxic.
Actually, let's talk about that a little bit. So, as you guys know, the podcast was supposed to be on Christmas Eve. That didn't happen. I think he tried to push it back like another day or two, like maybe for the 26th. So, after Christmas. That didn't happen, I think. Don't hold me to that. And then, as you know, it didn't go back. It didn't actually happen until New Year's Eve. Now, there's a bunch of theories on what that was. One of the theories is that, I guess I should say it's my theory. My theory is by the time the 25th had passed, he knew his window of opportunity was gone. It was gone. So, instead of coming back on the 26th and looking like a piece of shit by trying to get everybody's Christmas money, which is a sentiment that was shared by multiple people. Instead, he pushed it to New Year's Eve, hoping that because it's New Year's Eve, it's the last day of the year, if he can really try to drive his point home with this podcast, which was lazily done, he would be able to get the money that he needs. Now, you're probably like, well, GTG, what would be the point of doing all that shit anyway? It seems egregious and seems to be unnecessary. Well, as you guys remember last year, which is what Phil's trying to emulate, he's trying to emulate the success, from 2017. In doing so, or in turn, he was hoping that he could pull that off in 2018 so he could present that to the bank, showing 2 years of positive growth, and in turn, try to qualify for his refinancing. That's what this whole thing was about. That's what it all came down to. And I would have to be honest with you, when you saw the podcast on New Year's Eve, he had already given up. He was already giving up. He was just like, all right, fuck it. Let's just try to start the new year off right. That's really what it all came down to. By New Year's Eve, before he was done, he had already given up. There was nothing else there. And as amusing as that might be, it also, I saw a glimpse of wings in him, kinda. And so, in a lot of ways, Phil is starting to hit that, he's already hit the wall, but now he's starting to head over that cliff. And life comes at you fast, ladies and gentlemen. And like I said, it was poor planning, and it comes down to something that a lot of YouTubers, a lot of the bigger guys I think have, is that, like Monday Matt's a good example, is that once you hit that 100,000 mark, I guess, you really think that people care about you, but yet you turn around and criticize these same people too. So, for example, as you guys know, I'm nowhere near there. But let's say I was, for example, I don't know, let's say I wanted to expand or some shit, or maybe I wanted to do this full time, or whatever the case may be. And I start accepting donations, or whatever the case may be. Okay. Or Patreon, or whatever the situation. And things go really well for like 6 months. And then all of a sudden, you know, the weight of life comes on you. Bills, this, that, and the third. Just sitting down and doing videos every day becomes more of a job instead of being fun or amusing like it is. And so you start taking that stress out on the people who you think, well, one, who are closest to you, and two, those who you don't think are going to end up leaving you because you can just turn back around and say, oh, I'm sorry, because I'm just pissed off and frustrated. And that's what people like Phil, like Monday Matt, like Rich, a lot of these guys did and do. Wings, Low Tier God, and some of them are a gluttony for punishment and they will keep coming back, but a lot of them won't. But Phil looks at it as, well, these guys give me money, and when I tell them to do something, they'll do it, so they must care about me. They might even love him to some extent. They may love your content, sure, but they don't really have a reason to love you because look at how you treated them. But anyway, Phil wants to play off of 2017's narrative using the same cookie cutter mold, if you will, but the problem is, Phil, is you didn't clean it. You didn't clean the mold from last year. So it has the same type of gunk and grime and leftover food particles and shit that's on there. And instead of you throwing it away, you were like, well, this works, so I'm just going to run with it. And so you did. So not only did the cookies not come out very good, but then a lot of people got sick because you didn't wash the damn thing. You wanted to keep it just the way it was because it worked for you last year, so I'm going to use it this year. It's a type of ignorance that's shocking, to say the very least. But that's what encompasses Dark Side Phil. DSP, Phil Burnell, Dark, Dave, whatever you want to call him. For someone who is valedictorian, who's supposedly so goddamn smart, you act like a completely ignorant individual. And you wonder why people keep coming for your head. And you've tried to retaliate against people behind the scenes, and it almost always comes out. And it almost always comes out. And you may have caught yourself a couple of wins, but you haven't caught yourself a victory yet because it hasn't stopped. I find new channels who make a DSP video every day. Now, that doesn't mean they're Detractor channels. It just means that they made a video on DSP. There's a lot of random channels out there who have a DSP video in their repertoire. Maybe that's how it needs to be. Maybe every channel should have at least one video on there for Dark Side Phil. Just to give their take on on what they think of Dark Side Phil, how they felt about him maybe that day, or that week, or whatever the case may be. It's almost like a rite of passage if you think about it. I don't know. Let's continue. DSP News.
You have no horses available? Why? Oh, fuck!
Hopefully I can raise money to pay bills, and if I can't, what else can I do, right? I don't even know what else to say about it. Like, I don't even think it's really worth talking about, because if I don't raise enough money, I guess I get into trouble. What else can I say? You know, I hear ya, I am the Night. I am the Night says, maybe I shouldn't overwork myself around Christmas, because it doesn't necessarily equate to better quality stuff. I hear ya. You know, for me, I mean, again, I'm just being very real with all of you. I'm very, very worried about money. This year has not been a good year for me money-wise, because of many different factors that I actually will explain on my podcast.
Oh no, that's my horse, stupid. This horse is fucking dead, dude. The horse is dead.
When I get to do it, hopefully tomorrow. And it's stuff that I can't really fix.
You know what? I'm not sure if you guys caught the meta in that, but I'm going to go ahead and run with it. So if you saw that, you know, Phil said that there was all these different factors that caused for his year not to be very good, and then he jumped to the horse, the different horse clips. If you think about it, Cat really wasn't a benefit to him this year. You know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not here to bash her or anything like that. But if you think about it, the financial drain that she may have put on him for him to pull her from Michigan to here, to sit here and get her completely redone, get her, you know, get her ready to go to work and this, that, and the third, new car or not, the cell phone, the wardrobe, all that shit, all the things that was alleviated, if you think about it, when Panda left, he ended up having to reestablish with even more financial drain when he brought Cat in. And where was the payoff? Yeah, the first couple months might have been total bliss, if you will. But then what happened after that? Cat was more of, if anything else, Cat benefited more from this transaction, more from this arrangement than Phil ever did. And Phil can't acknowledge that, or maybe he doesn't want to acknowledge it. But either which way, that looks like that's what the situation was. So what do you do now? Where do you go from here, Phil? You're in a bad spot financially. This young lady here has demands, and rightfully so. And you're having a hard time meeting them. I mean, let's be honest. The first obligation that you have, you definitely couldn't make that happen. And that's why, excuse me, Jim exists. But now, since you don't have to worry about the physical aspect, what about the actual financial aspect? It comes across, I'm sorry, it comes across more and more like this is an arrangement. And as long as Phil comes through on his half, she'll do whatever she needs to do on her half. And it doesn't look like Phil's coming through. And I think it translates in their relationship in a lot of ways, or in this agreement. When he had her on that Halloween stream, right? He should have, you just had her sitting there like a centerpiece. When instead, you should have had her either engaged with the chat or engaged in the game. That would have been the smart move. Not just have her sit there. I would have put the controller in her hand and be like, here, play. And I'm going to read the chat. And then they could have either alternated, they could have done a bunch of things. But you basically got this girl to dress up, makeup and all, and then you sat her down. And you were basically like, all right, be a good show horse and just sit here, and I'm going to play this game. I'm going to work. Which, it makes me think that she's just a shield. It makes me think that she's window dressing. And because of that, you can see why the whole gay theorizing is slowly but surely poking its head out. I don't know. Time will tell on that one. But it's interesting nonetheless. But that's just my feedback on it. Snort Burnell's great. Let's continue. DSP News.
It's stuff that's just changing around me, and it makes me very worried about the future, to the point where, like, you know, well, the only way that I can make more money is to work harder or work more, stream more, do more content, right? That's the only way I can think of to fix the situation. Or something.
What content though? You streaming more is actually becoming less profitable to an extent. Like I said, once the new new system's implemented with Twitch, where you can't skip ads, then that's a whole nother thing in itself. Which, if he's smart, he'll run more ads. As it pertains to making more content, are you going to go back to YouTube? Are you going to go back to KO Gaming, which still has a pretty fresh slate? Are you going to put more content over there? Are you going to actually try to go back to editing? It's so easy for you. What kind of content are you actually going to do? You think you playing more games is content? That's not how that works, cowboy. That's not how it works at all. And Phil don't understand that, because this goes back to my previous statement, where he's all in on YouTube. I mean on Twitch. He's all in. And because he's boxed himself in, he doesn't even know how to get himself out. He wanted that absolute protection. Gara reference for some of you anime and manga fans out there. He wanted that Gara protection, but now he can't even look out. where Gara had that invisible eye, that sand eye that he could actually see what's going on the outside. Phil doesn't even have that. He put himself in, and then he basically blocked up all of the windows, the door, everything. So he has absolute and total safety. But now he can't do anything. He has nothing else to draw upon. He can't. He has no line of sight. He has no view. So he has no idea what the landscape looks like, because he doesn't want to admit that he watches other streamers. And he doesn't want to ask for help from any other streamers either. That would be embarrassing in its own right. And because of that, he's out of ideas, because he doesn't have any creativity, sorry. So he's just stuck in the worst possible way. And at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, he put himself there. He put himself there. He wanted safe, what he thought was safe and easy money. You got it, kinda. But now you can't move like everybody else moves. You're restricted in a way that most people aren't.
Can get control. And so that's why I said 9 straight days of streaming without a break at all. My voice was completely shot. I took one day off that really wasn't a day off, because I ended up going out and doing stuff like errands and stuff with Kat. And then when I came back, I overworked myself again.
Whoa, fuck you. You say you do that on your days off anyway. You've told us that. Oh, I'm taking a day off with Kat, but we're gonna go and run errands. That's all you do. You've said that before. Secondly, and I said this in a previous broadcast, I'm sure. Why does Kat need to go with you everywhere to run errands? Let her go out and do it. If she feels up to it, let her run some errands. Or let her do errands on this side of town and then have her pick you back up. So this way you can sleep in for a little while, and then let her pick you back up. You take everything out, help her take everything out of the car, get your little hand cart, Phil, because we all know about that bad back. Get your little hand cart, bring that stuff in, put that away, and then head out with her for the second leg of the trip. Do that. So don't sit there and try to use that as an excuse. Oh, that was my day off, but me and Kat went and ran errands, so it wasn't really day off. Don't do that. You've been saying that since Kat got there. That's what you guys spend your one day off together doing, is running errands. So don't do that. Don't you dare.
Weekend stuff, and you know, it just ended up kind of backfiring, and because people didn't actually tune in necessarily for the holiday stuff like I thought they would, like they had previously. So it ended up kind of be a bust for me, you know, overworking myself and really not getting anything out of it, and then getting sick on top of it.
So, I've had enough excuses. It just seems to me like people are fucking lazy. Step up.
I've always done the wrestling sims, and they were always a hit. This year, they were kind of a bust. The holiday marathon last year was a huge hit. This year, it was a bust, right? And what was different? I don't know.
No one's really talking to me anymore now. Some people are taking off for the night. Gee, guys.
Yeah, it's kind of like a wing stream. You're so fucking depressing that they're like, all right, well, if you're not going to do anything to entertain me or humiliate yourself or something, I'm out. And here's the thing that Theo, Tevin, Argent, a lot of the old school, not just them, but a lot of the old school heads have been saying for a while, who had said years ago, if he actually watched his content, not just skim through the video so he can get that ad revenue, but if he actually watched his content, he might actually see what's wrong with his content. But how do you tell the man who is so successful on YouTube, the lucky one, the fortunate one, that he makes a mistake? Or that he's doing it wrong? That's where the God complex comes into play. And so then when people leave him, and in Phil's words, because I love that when he says this, they went ahead and they stopped watching and they left and they never came back. There's something about when he says that brings a glee to my eye for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe I had a little bit of a, maybe I need to go ahead and get a haircut. Maybe some of my fur starting to get into my face a little bit more than it's supposed to. But there's something about when he says that gives me, it gives me the most joyous chuckle. I don't know what it is about it, but it does. And in truth, though, it reminds me of people that I've met who have lost a family member, or a family member has walked out on them. And that's kind of what it reminds me of. If we take the entertainment aspect out of it and be serious for a minute, that's what it actually reminds me of. It reminds me of someone who is sad that people are leaving him, and he can't do anything about it. And in this one moment of clarity, he realizes that he wanted those people to stick around, or he needed those people to stick around, and it's a vulnerable situation for him. So that's why he's not taking any shots at them like normally. It's a real, if you look into it a little bit, it's a sobering, I guess, type of moment for Phil. But that doesn't mean I'm going to feel bad for him either. He put himself there. He put himself there. All right, let's continue.
Think that I was faking my illness all along, like some idiots have been saying. Phil's been faking it all along. He's a faker. Idiots. Ah, the salty tears.
Oh, you're gonna get salt, 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 salt. It's, oh, even now, again, my mouth overpowered with salt flavor.
You damn right. But Phil, didn't you admit to faking reactions and faking rage during playthroughs and Street Fighter matches and so on and so forth? You've admitted doing that in the past. So who's to say this right here isn't a form of this isn't you being fraudulent? Let's call it. That's what you are, Phil. You're a fraud. So how is this not an example of you being fraudulent? Why would people believe you? You lie to people all year long. And now you got yourself a little code, and it's not as bad as you're probably making it out to be. You've probably been drinking the last couple of nights because that's what you do, Phil. You're a drinker. You can take that any way you want to take it, but that's what you are. Why should anybody believe you? Why should anybody even give you the benefit of the doubt? And because you exaggerate everything, why should anybody give you anything? Dspnews.
Do you prefer? I prefer a penne. Oh! Easy to eat. Oh! Phil's a faggot. Phil's fat. Phil's a loser. Phil's a beggar. Phil's a racist. Phil's a scammer. DSP's a pedophile. DSP is a thief. DSP is a greedy fuck.
This guy's a bitch.
I have a micro penis.
Alright, sorry. That's the face Phil has right before the pillow comes on. I wonder though, is that the face he's gonna have when Kat finally leaves him? I don't know, I'll have to go back to the Panda video to see what he looked like when she left. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is the broadcast at hand. I felt a little bit more insightful, I guess. Not necessarily. I don't know, maybe I felt a little bit more talkative today and whatnot. But it's kind of nice getting to do a video once a day, to be honest with you. It's kind of a nice feeling. I mean, I'm going to watch it anyway, so there's no reason why I just shouldn't go ahead and record. So there you go. Like I said, there's a lot of catching up to do. I hope to get all caught back up, and then we get maybe we'll have like a consistent schedule this year, or at least for the first couple months, and then we'll go from there. And there you go on that. I hope to incorporate comments into the video soon, so look out for that. You might actually show up in a video. Shouts out to everybody. The list for shout outs will continue to increase and whatnot. We started a new list, so if you don't see your name up there, don't worry, eventually it'll get up there and whatnot. That's pretty much it, guys. You know what I'm saying? Thank you guys very much for listening in, and enjoy the rest of your day and whatnot, because you guys got stuff to do, unlike Phil. And I'll see you guys for the next broadcast. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dspnews, always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh yes, a GTG Network Productions. I am your host / anchor, GTG, and I am signing off. Take care of yourself, guys. End the broadcast.
Are you riding? Say you never ever leave from beside me, 'cause I want ya, and I need ya, and I'm down for you always.